Okay guys, this is part 3 of the Bumblebee Polymer Clay Pen. In this part, what I'm going to be working on is the base of the pen, or the holder for the pen, and we're going to make this into a bumblebee to match the ones that we did on our flowers. Except I'm going to use one thing a little bit different this time. But first, what you want to start off with is for the body. I used 1150 lemonade, conditioned it quite well, and I rolled it out into a ball. I rolled it oblong like this, and then pushed it flat a little bit to give it the flat base on the bottom. In fact, I'm going to do that a little bit more. And kept it fairly narrow in the middle, because once you push your pen down into it to make the holder part of it, it's going to get a little wider. So right now it measures, I'm going to guess, about 2 inches, and this is the body of it. Up here at the top, I am going to pinch it a little bit. There we go. Just to make it defined at the neck, and that is going to be its body. After everything is baked, we'll come back in and paint it with the black acrylic paints that I have, and I'll show that to you in the final part of the tutorial. After that, piece of black, this rolled into a ball. This black, I'm going to say, is about 1 inch round. And you're going to push down on it to get that flat surface again. So at this point, we have our body, and we have a round circle, which we're going to use for the head. As far as the head goes, what I'm going to do is, this whole thing isn't just going to get stuck on there. I'm going to, this curve right here, I'm going to mimic it just a little bit on its head, like this, and cut this piece out and pull that out, and then this now is going to fit on here. Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to bump my camera. Fairly easy, and then it'll fit the rest of the way on. There we go. I'm going to hang on to this piece, because I'm actually going to use that for its antennas. Okay, so from this point, let's take this piece, set that little guy aside, and let's roll this out into a thin line here. Oops, keeps getting stuck on me. There we go. And I'm going to go a little bit thinner. This middle part right here, I'm going to use, hopefully, if I didn't do it too thin. And we're going to make it let's trim it down to, let's make it about 2 inches. Alright, so at that point, so it's 2 inches long, then we're going to take this and kind of fold it in half and pinch the one end. These need to stay apart though. I'm going to roll the top of these a little bit. There, see how heavy? It gets a little heavy if you roll with it to try to flatten the end out. It develops a little, almost a circle type thing on the top of it. And we'll do the same on this side. Now, as far as this goes, I am not going to put these on until it is ready to go into the oven. So for right now, I'm going to take our little antenna and I'm going to set them aside. Okay, now, the only thing left to do with this guy, besides our pen impression, is to make his wings. And I've decided to try the translucent, transparent clay. I've heard some good things about it and how cool it can make things. So what I did was I rolled out 2 balls. They are probably about a 1/2 inch round. And then what I did was I took my roller and rolled it out thin. This would just be probably the thinnest, maybe a little bit thicker than what I used to wrap around my pens itself. So what we're going to do is 2 of those, like such, and these are going to be his wings. And what I did was, let me grab my tool, on my knife tool here at the very end. I love this tool. We're going to take and go make an impression down the center and then do 3 lines on each side, and this is just to give it some kind of indication of a wing or something like that. The only thing that's going to be difficult with this now is I'm pretty anal when it comes to symmetry. So for me, it's going to be getting these wings dead on right. So, as far as this goes, you want to fold it inwards, kind of like a taco. Pinch the bottom, so then it makes like a cup. So then I'm going to take this, and I'm going to take this point right here into the back of the head of the bumblebee. And I'm going to take my impression there we go, and put it on there. And then I'm going to gently push this down the whole way and fold this back up into it. There we go. And then I can see right now my other one is a little wider at the end. There we go. Maybe that'll help a little bit. And then you can always tug on it this way if you get a perfect circle, pull on it and it'll help elongate it. Okay. So then again, we're going to fold it in like a taco, pinch the one end, makes a little cup, and then this little point is going to go right in to the head or the neck of the bee, and this is going to go backwards. I'm going to push down on this to attach. Push this in. Push that down a little bit. And then I'm going to push this into the back of his head a little bit more. And there we go. His head's a little lopsided now. There we go. So there is our bumblebee, and what I am hoping, from what I read with this transparent, it's going to leave it just as what it supposedly says. It's kind of like a see-through. So I don't know. I've never used it before, so we're going to give it a shot. You can play with the wings. It looks kind of cute, pinched in a little bit more, so maybe I'll pinch it just a tad more. And like that there. I'll leave it like that. I like that. And then at this point, what we're going to do is when I sit it on my desk, I would want the bee to be facing me. So then I'm going to take our finished pen with the tip in it, and I'm going to put it, let's say, in this, we'll do it not directly in the center of the body, but a little bit closer, see right there. You can see it's not perfectly centered, and that's because you want some weight on either end. So let's put it there, and go ahead and make the impression. So that's pen's almost perfectly standing straight. It's tilted a little to the back, which is good. And I'm going to go around like this 2 times. That way, when this pen, or when this bumblebee bakes, when it comes out, the pen should fit in there pretty good. Now I got a little indentation, so let's fix this indentation. Fix that up a little bit. Pretty good. And last and certainly not least is we're going to come in and add the antennas. And what I did was I bent a little piece back. So I'm going to take that, and that is going to sit on the top of his head. And we're going to push that little piece down into it. And then from this point, I probably will push the top in a little bit more. And I'll probably bend them a little bit, because no wing or no antenna on any bug is perfect. And my one antenna seems to be a lot longer than the other. So, nothing like fixing. And there we go. I'm going to flatten this out in the back here a little bit better, blend it in with his head. The antennas obviously on this one are not working with me as well as they did on my bumblebee. So, that's alright. There we go. Ta-da! Okay, so here is the finished bumblebee. This guy is pretty fat and round. I'm going to bake him for probably, I'm going to go half an hour. Maybe 35 minutes. But there is the finished bumblebee, and then once this is done baking, I will come back and do the final part of it, and that will be painting the acrylics, details, and glazing it all, and then showing final product. Alright guys, have a good day.